can you talk about two things? Because when we first spoke offline, we were talking about this recording, and you mentioned the idea of course, we mentioned lifestyle, but you talked about stress. So, in context of that, could you talk about how important it is to be aware of inflammation and insulin?
Yeah, stress, very important. This all started with one of the landmark studies published in Lancet called the Interheart study. It was revealing, Sandeep, and I'll tell you what happened was, even I was taken aback. In the sub-study and the analysis that they carried out, you would be surprised that out of all the risk factors that they analyzed, psychosocial stress and anger had the fourth highest attributable risk in causation or occurrence of heart attacks. Now, what is this? Stress people think is an integral part of your life. Now, I think that's something that is not natural. How can that be an integral part of our life?
Mm.
This cannot be. This is only that, people say, I'm managing my stress. I say, no, I don't manage my stress. I manage my own mind because stress is not innate to me. That is not me. Why should I manage stress? Today, we have inculcated stress in three forms: my general stress, my work stress, and my family stress. There are various parameters for this. In the study that we conducted in our heart attack patients recently, more than 1400 patients, 93% of them had severe to moderate stress. Now, this is revealing. This
Yeah.
is very, very powerful. This was contributing to occurrence of higher events. Now, how and why does it become important? Let me put the things in right perspective. In one of the landmark papers that we published in one of the journals, and we also presented in European Congress, what we did was we started analyzing young people. I was operating young people, and one of the young persons who came to me without any risk factors, almost like a dead body. We resuscitated him, and when we were able to save his life, we interrogated, we talked to his family, and came to know that he was almost on the verge of a divorce. And his
Mm.
wife and they were not in talking terms. And when I talked to them, I requested his wife that, come on, you guys really need to spend some time with each other and just do one favor, that you are parting 1 month later. Why don't you hold his hand and come to my OPD for only 4 weeks? And she said, okay, sir, because you're saying I'll do this thing. And you would be surprised then when they started giving time to each other, one chartered accountant, one IT professional, they started understanding each other, accepting each other. And 4 months down the lane, even 4 years down the lane, they are still coming. They took their divorce papers back. And that is the time I knew that what as doctors we are doing is we are not doing a job better than what a washerman is doing. You talked about infrastructure, you talk about five-star hospitals, you talk about everything healthcare systems which have evolved globally like magic. But remember, just like a washerman who's mopping the floor, similarly we doctors and cardiologists, we are doing the same job. Nobody is focusing on switch the tap off. If you turn the tap off, the floor will stop getting dirty. That is what we need. And that is what we did in our study, that we took a group of young heart attack patients and without any risk factors, no diabetes, hypertension, no other risk factors, family history or lipids, which were normal, and we measured their stress. And then we also measured their genetic age, what we call as a biologic age.
Mm.
Like you will say, Mohit, you are 50 years old. That's perfect. But what is my biologic age? That is the age of my genes, which we measure by the telomere length. The results were eye-opening. Sandeep, you would be surprised to hear that these children whom I operated were chronologically aged between 18 to 35 years.
Mhm.
But their biologic age was equal to a 60 to 95-year-old gentleman. Their genes were completely destroyed. Their telomere length was completely destroyed, and hence telomere length, which was integrating, which was protecting the chromosome, this chromosome was no longer protected, and the gene started expressing very fast.
Mm.
The diseases like heart attacks, like illnesses, like early aging. You see many young people with their white hair,
Mm.
many young people looking much aged. Why? Because their biologic age is increasing gradually. So when we further analyzed, we would be surprised that the single most powerful factor in predicting this particular biological age high was psychosocial stress. I was
Mm.
amazed. And when we further analyze, the psychosocial stress is responsible for destroying our telomerase enzyme, which maintains the telomere length. And hence, those people who have lack of love, lack of happiness, lack of gratitude, continuous sense of pressure of performance, having a 7-digit salary, driving a Mercedes, but happiness index negative, happiness index destroyed. They are the people who are going to have a very high biological age, and they are the people who are going to suffer from diseases. On the contrary, those people who had love in their life, who have gratitude, who have acceptance, who enjoy their life, who live their life of purpose, they are the people whose telomerase enzyme was high and telomere length was integrated. This is where our science has reached. It's not just about putting implants, it's not just about treating the complex cases, it's about being a healer. When we heal, I am not only targeting the body, I'm also targeting the mind of the person. I'm also targeting the psyche of the person. And that is what is needed today. Because of a younger population, our younger people, and not only young, irrespective of of our age, we all are today driven by our materialistic wealth, by a never-ending sense of more and more, getting more and more is never going to end. The only thing that I need to learn in my life is that I have enough. And the moment I know that I have achieved that, I'm able to manage. So this is where now we are working. Now we are offering a holistic lifestyle to our cardiac patients. We not just operate them, but we give them diet, exercise, and rest, both for the body as well as for the mind. Lifestyle is not just this life, it's about the life here, our mind and psyche. And taking care of them is equally important as a holistic doctor or as an interventionist. So this is just an overview where our science is working now. Now we have developed tools. We are using artificial intelligence in our patients, and by tools like meditation, by yoga, we are trying to reverse the telomere length. We are seeing their happiness index is increasing, their depression index is going down. Even in the doctors and the healthcare workers, we are carrying out studies, those who have worked in the COVID times, and these therapies are working miracles. They are working great. So this is where our science is going to.
Which is so encouraging to hear, because otherwise, typically a doctor would say, hey, you know what, it's okay, you're going through stress at work, take some statins, everything will come down, continue
Yeah.
working. And
Or a sleeping pill.
or a sleeping pill, or so
Yeah.
many things to reduce your cortisol, or to get on
Yeah.
insulin, it's fine, take some shots, you'll be fine. But the idea, don't ever doubt that it's your work or something, because this kind of science, the fact that this kind of science is presenting, has to translate to education, where the children realize that what traditionally people told them will make them happy is actually killing them, which is that crazy job where you're the CEO, jet setting across the world, lack of sleep, you're eating bad food, you're staying out of hotels, you're working out excessively because you think in 30 minutes I don't have time for anything else. Let me do high intensity exercise. Let me constantly compete. All these things, which at least I thought that was the way to be successful. It's clearly showing that that's lethal.
Sandeep, you would be surprised. I often wonder, when I'm interacting with young groups and various institutes of repute like IMITs, I talk to people, they say, we have created more successful people. I often say that, it's not about successful people. Today, we are creating intellectual fools. We need to have a generation that is empowered. I would be happy if we create more happy people, those people who are happy, those people who are stable. They are bound to be successful in their life. It's impossible that happy people cannot be successful. But successful people, whether they'll be happy or not, that's a big question mark. So we need to inculcate these things right from our school education now. First, parents have to accept this thing, that this is the need. And happiness is not a destination. Sandeep, may I ask you, we all travel, isn't it? We will always say, have a very pleasant what? Sandeep,
Journey.
you would
Yeah.
say, have
Yeah.
a very pleasant journey. We never say, have a very pleasant destination.
Mm.
Life is all about journey. We
Yeah.
never say, have a very pleasant destination. So, similarly, our happiness is not at the destination, it's all along the journey. Create it right here and right now in everything that you are doing. Magic is going to happen.
Doctor, to add to what you just said, I remember talking to someone and I said, why, if you're so unhappy with what you're doing at work, why don't you just resign and find something that you enjoy? And he said, yeah, it's really affecting my health. And I said, why don't you make that change today? He's like, no, I need to save up. I need to have enough in the bank. So in a couple of years, I will then quit, and then I will get healthy, and then I will relax. I'm like, it's exactly what you just said. These certain conditions have to be met for me to be happy, healthy, and relaxed. Why?
Mm. This is very, very surprising because we have actually formed our mindset. Today we are chasing happiness. This is what happened with me. When I did my MBBS, I thought, oh, this is perfect. Now I'm a doctor. Everything is perfect. Next day, I was chasing my MD degree.
Yeah,
The moment I was MD, I was chasing my cardiology degree. The moment I was a cardiologist, I was chasing my faculty position. Every day I was setting new targets. I knew that if I want to create happiness, the time is right here and now. Let me enjoy, let me be in this present moment and live this moment to the fullest to create happiness. Stability inside is going to reflect outside. And
brilliant.
I always strongly believe that, if you want to see your true reflection in a water needs two things. Water needs to be clear, and also water needs to be stable. Only in a stable and a clear water you are able to see a reflection. Similarly, if you want to see the reflection of your own state of mind, your mind needs to be clear and stable. Today, in the present generation, neither is our mind clear nor it is stable. And that is why everybody talks about stability, talks about happiness and joy. Nobody is able to see or picturize their own truer inner self in the right way or in the right perspective.
Now, this is so good to hear from a doctor because typically, as you said, right, you treat them. A doctor treats a patient. They treat a case. They don't treat the whole human being. They don't look at the underlying situation. They don't look at what's happening at home. They don't look at the mental state. They don't look at the social conditioning of that person. And this is so encouraging. And I hope this is the way that all medical experts are approaching health going forward, because clearly there was a role that the old way played, and clearly that time is gone, and we need to adapt, and we need to
Yeah,
um, change from science to literacy to education, the messaging, because it's not just one field that can do this alone. It's from a young age where people, along with doctors, along with healthcare experts, along with mental health experts, along with education experts, combine in a combined way, have to do this, because it's on a grassroots level, the message that a person grows up with, saying this is what's more important than pursuit of material happiness, pursuit of overcoming obstacles and putting someone else down for my own benefit, and all those things are not done just by a doctor, clearly.
true. Absolutely. It's very important for us to come and have a collective responsibility. And
Mm.
today, Times Magazine, it published a very beautiful article with the science of epigenetics. It has shown that these are newer tools like meditation, like yoga. These are the therapies that are going to create a very powerful impact on your own genes and your body. In fact, Dr. Robert Waldinger is a famous scientist from America, from Harvard. What he did was one of the famous studies called Grant and Glueck study. And all youngsters, and we all should be aware of this. And what he did, he followed up around about 600 men from Massachusetts, Boston, for over 75 years. And he's found that the single most important factor that was leading or that was predictive of a successful and a happy life was having good relations. Very, very important. Good relations, not just with your own self, but with your family, with your friends. And that can come only by your own inner stability, by appreciating each other, by accepting each other, and by understanding each other. That's the crux, that's the essence. This world of technology, what I often say is a high tech world. Now, this world is back to what we know as a high touch world. We need touch and compassion in our life. Technology has driven us crazy. It's our own creation. Today, we are no longer the master. Technology is controlling us. But when we talk about touch and compassion, it takes care of everything. It heals, it nurtures, it rejuvenates, it relaxes, it completely reinvents our life.
We need to touch stuff that doesn't give us a haptic feedback. We need real feedback from a human being.
Yeah.
Well said,
Insight.
doctor.